let me spend a little bit of time with the course syllabus. This is posted to Blackboard under the syllabus and schedule part, and this one document contains both. I should point out here at the top that I have two sections of the course, each of which is full, so I have right at 50 students. This is my office at Merrimack in the Communications North building. This is my office number, which I'm hardly ever at, but here is my cell phone number. And you can call me if you need to, but just don't call after 9 o'clock at night. Probably the easiest thing to do to get in touch is use the Remind app, and I've sent out a couple of notes about that, or use email, and here's my email address. Either of those two ways are the best because we both have a record of what we're up to. I am going to schedule a Collaborate or a Hangout or a Skype session each week once we decide what that's going to consist of. I've tried that twice before in online courses, and it never works as well as I hope, but perhaps you will like it better than my other students do. Here are the four objectives, the learning objectives that we have for the course. Here's the textbook again, which I showed you in the previous video. Here's the ISBN, and it tells you how to buy it from the college bookstore. It also mentions our Blackboard site. Talks about down here that we're going to spend a lot of time writing papers in this course, but we'll probably spend more time writing discussion board posts. And those are in lieu of class attendance, and there's a lot of them in the course. I think I have 22 altogether in 8 weeks. So it's going to be a busy schedule. On page 2 of the syllabus, I start listing out the schedule, and you can see I've divided each of the 8 weeks of the course into 2 weeks, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and so on. The only week that's not divided up this way is the last week, week 8, and by the time we get to that point, you'll understand it. And so there's things that are due Monday through Thursday, and then there are things that are due Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I try to have the same kinds of tasks due on the same day. We start with a discussion of literary criticism of the 10 critical schools that our textbook talks about. Then we look at how to apply those critical schools in the second half of the first week. Week 2, we look at humor. Week 3 and a portion of all of week 3 and the half of the second week we devote to women. We discuss men in week 4 and the beginning of week 5. Week 6 and week 5B, we look at fantasy and horror. My students seem drawn to that, so I thought it'd be useful. Week 6B, we focus on art and the role of the artist. Right now, I have a thing over here that says we'll have to have the ballot in for student choice stories. That's for week 7. That's if we decide that we're not going to replace week 7 with a novel. And I've sent out an earlier note about that, and I'll show it to you again when we look at Blackboard. Week 7, like I said, right now is student choice and microliterature, and if we decide we can replace those two types of assignments with a novel. And again, that's going to be up to you. There's a final exam in the course, and that'll be due on Friday the 2nd of August, which is our last semi-official class day. I have to have grades in on Monday the 5th. Okay. In terms of assignments, we have a variety of discussion board posts. We have a piece of microfiction if we keep week 7 the way that it is. We have 3 short papers. We have quizzes each week, each half week. There's a quiz, and then we have a final exam. And the final exam question is a real simple one. Develop some criteria by which you make judgments about what stories should be read or not read. So you develop a set of standards and then pick a story that you think should be taken from the course and then one that should not. The point value for the course as a whole is 1,000, and you can see kind of here how the various assignments work out. If we change week 7, some of this may change as well. There's some extra credit options. The first, you can get extra credit on any paper, any of the 3 papers that we have. By going to our writing center or using the online writing center. You can do a presentation and film it, and then we can post it for the rest of the class to look at on one of these topics. You can also earn extra credit by extra discussion board posts, and you can also earn extra credit at week 4A by watching the film version of a story called The Dead and writing about it. And we'll talk about that more as time goes by. That's mostly what the syllabus consists of. Everything else in the syllabus is the kind of course policies and boilerplate stuff that we have to put in there. I'm particularly concerned with plagiarism. Many of the stories that we read in this course are stories that we've read for years, as I mentioned in the previous video, and there's a lot of online information about them. If you find yourself using any of that, it must be documented. And so the plagiarism part here just says, keep track of your sources, indicate what's yours and indicate what is somebody else's ideas or somebody else's language. And that's what pages 7 and 8 and a little bit of 9 are concerned about. One other thing I need to mention, if you've taken a previous literature course or you've written about one of these stories when you were in high school, you cannot recycle those papers in this course. You have to do original work for this course in order to earn credit. You can't recycle old stuff. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. One final point, and I'll stop talking about the syllabus. You're always welcome to send me drafts of your papers ahead of time, and I'm happy to look at them. There's a schedule in the assignment sheets that tells you how to do that. So if you have questions about the syllabus, please read through it and send me an email, and I will respond to the class as a whole, because entirely any one person's question is probably a question that others will have. I will update the syllabus as time goes by, but I don't expect a whole lot of changes once we sort out the week 7 business of whether we're going to deal with what's in the syllabus already or whether we're going to do a novel. But let me know what your questions are.